Hello, here we are, our Friday Committed Parenting What's Your Commitment series. Helen is going to be joining very momentarily. Like we could count down, maybe do a 10-second countdown, and here she will be coming. Today we are going to continue our conversation for the month of May on parenthood and everything that it means to be a parent. Oh, she's looking. Let's see. Will she join? Invite? Add? Her. We should be able to see her any moment. Come on. Connecting. Here she is.
Yay!
Whoa.
I made it.
Yay.
Good
All right, so
morning.
here we are, committed parenting. And this month we've been really looking at parenthood.
Mhm.
And last week we were looking at creating ourselves as the parents, like what
Yes.
to us, like what's our creation. Like a couple weeks ago we looked at like kind of that default, what's kind of society's view of parents, what's really comes to your mind when you think of parenthood. And then last week we just like completed that and busted that up and like really got to create for ourselves, like what does parenting mean to us? who
Yeah.
who are we as a parent? What are we committed to as a parent? What are we looking to actually like leave around us in our interactions? What's really important to us? So that's what we explored last week. And did anything come up for you, Helen, in that exploration or in your creation?
Well, I think that it's that same conversation why we actually are called committed parenting, right? Is that
Mm-hmm.
when because I really stood in being love and connection with my kids, right? Like over and over and over. And so sometimes I misstep and then I get to clean it up. But because it was so in my forefront, that was my experience of this last week, that who I am, right, is as love and connection as a parent. Hi, Chris Niehaus in London, maybe in South Africa right now, but I'm saying hello to you because I saw you pop up. Sorry, hold on. Sorry. So it's
But I love
really
what you
clear.
said right there. Like with
Yeah.
the forefront, like I'm just so clear. Like that just presents to me the value of what this has been with committed parenting.
Yeah.
Like each of our months, every theme we take on, whether it be acknowledgement, gratitude, next month I think it's compassion coming your
Yes, it
way.
is.
This month parenthood. Like it just brings that so to the forefront
It
so that
really
like
does.
you're really present to it and you get to bring it into your day. And it's something that's important to us parents to have these ways with our kids and our families. And like we really get to shape our family so newly when it's coming from that at the forefront instead of
Yes.
that like reaction in the background.
No, and it's that same thing. It's like my measure, right? Like that's what I'm standing in. So when I'm not being that, right, then I get to say, hey, I messed up, right? And let's do this again so that I stand in that space, right? Because it's always there then, right? Yeah.
Hmm. I noticed this week, like really, like from our last Friday call, of just really getting connected again of like, what am I out to fulfill on as a parent? Like
Mm,
what really, like at the end of my parenting journey,
yes.
which will be a long, long time out on my deathbed one day, or as my kids venture all 18 and beyond into their adulthood,
Hmm.
and one's there, another one's about to be there in just a couple of months. Like what do I really want to fulfill on? What's so important to me that my kids get left with? And it's such
Mm,
a I love being in that inquiry. Like this week has really been really juicy in parenting, being in that inquiry. Um,
yeah.
yeah, like my son Anon, who often is like, off on his own and he loves to be in his room either building, making on his computer, doing something. Like he's
Hmm.
really always tinkering and thinking, and he's really a lot of times isolates himself, I guess. He's really social and everything too, but he really likes to do his thing and sink in. And it was so great this week being just so present to like what I want to fulfill on as a parent, what's important to
Mm,
me. Because every time he kind of came out, it was just like right there for me. So before when he would have come out, I would have just continued going on about my thing. Oh yeah, hi and on, bye and on. He'd talk to me a little bit and he'd just kind of pass. But just being so present to like what I want to fulfill on as a parent, as he would come out, I'd like just go over and kind of like hold him and squeeze him in a little bit and then like ask him some questions like, what's that like? And, what are you building? Tell me more about that. And like, he just kept, he loves to walk and pace while he talks. So it's so great. Like I'm sitting there, it gives me a little bit of like, ooh, I get a bit dizzy talking to him. But he was just like, I don't know, he talked my ear off for
yeah.
like 45
Yeah.
minutes straight. sharing,
Mhm.
about these ideas he has and how
Mhm.
he's learning something and what he's
Mhm.
learned about, some chemicals and molecules in space and how it can this and that and about some ideas. And then next thing you know, and it actually gave him a space to speak into too. And next thing you know, he actually started getting out paper and do out drawings and formatting, which is something he doesn't usually do for his
Mhm.
projects. And he
Mhm.
sat out at the table and like was talking to me while I was in the kitchen. And like it was just we got to connect in a whole new way
Mm.
where normally that would have gone, he would have just gone back into his room. So
Mm.
he stayed out with
Yes.
us and the family and we got to
Yes.
connect. It was lovely. Just having that in the forefront, like just having
Yeah.
that inquiry right there.
I know, and it's not the doing, right? It's exactly what you're speaking to. It's actually not the doing. It's actually being in the inquiry, right?
Yeah.
It's not we have
Mm-hmm.
to do something. It's being in the inquiry that has us then, hey, what's there to do, right? What would
Yeah.
make a difference now? Yeah.
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 And just that question, what do I want to fulfill on here? Like really, what's
Yes.
important to me? What do I want to fulfill on? And it's like it's right there for me. Like every time I ask myself, it's like it's right there. And and yeah, I know the action to take and what to say or how to listen. And it's freaking awesome.
Isn't it? And then you
I
get to
know.
know yourself as like this person who has these awesome people in your life, right? Like they're
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that because I was really clear this week. So, Adrian's working like a lot more than he has been, and so like I've stepped back into like being mom, right? For a while there, I was like working more than Adrian, right? And so then Adrian was like parenting like more. Do you know what I mean? There was just more time at home,
Mhm.
and I've been home more, and it's been so fun. In the afternoons, we've connected every single afternoon, and it might be I had the best snuggle with her ever known to humankind for starters, but it's like the adventuring we do together then, and it's out of that space of like really it was great because I actually called Adrian. I said, oh, it was the other on Wednesday, I want to go and do this, and what do you like, and maybe I'll try and take Ella with me. And he was like, well, how about you actually ask her what she wants? Right? And it was brilliant though, because it actually, I hear two things there. One, that I brought it to Ella, but it was Adrian's listening too, right? In that moment, like Helen, who you are as a parent is that you actually want to be connected rather than just telling your kid what she needs to be doing, right? It was really fun. I don't know, sorry, but like I just had this experience of this week of like really over and over being with my peeps, being with
Yeah.
them, not being in my head thinking about the next thing that I have to do. Right here,
Yeah.
let's be with you. Yay!
Yeah. It's freaking lovely. It's
I
freaking
know,
lovely.
I
And
know.
that's why the structure is so great. Like each week to like we take on an inquiry, we take on a
Yeah,
discovery within like kind of a theme or under an umbrella as a way of being
yes,
or what your commitment could be.
yes.
And and what comes out of that, like wow, so much gets to come out of that, like kind of presence and keeping it at the forefront, which brings such, discovery and connection and fulfillment, like real fulfillment. Like I'm just so satisfied at the end of my day.
Yes,
So satisfied.
yes.
Awesome. So then this week, we're like actually like taking a different look at parenthood. So we kind of looked at these other aspects of parenthood, but this week we really wanted to take a look at like, as here we are defining parenthood, like what are we out to fulfill on, right, with our kids? What are we out to fulfill on with our family? But one thing I'm sure a lot of you know, and you have people in your life with parenthood, like sometimes it's not your biological kids. Sometimes it's not even your
Hands down.
kids in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
And there's these dynamics and these relationships that get really built and that are really beautiful where you get to connect with another child or a child with you, which really still fulfills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say it the other way around too, is having lived in a country, right, on where it's Adrian and I as the parents, right, and that we don't have lots of extended family. It's those people also who have like been that for our kids, right? Have
Mhm.
filled those spaces that I would like acknowledged in this, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I look at, yeah, that's actually a really good point because, being away from family, like when I know when I first moved out to this side of even Canada and
Mhm.
not having the family, like luckily
Mhm.
lots of family has moved this way, but
Thank
it's like
goodness.
we really we really can create our family and we can
Yes.
create our relations for our kids and ourselves and these kind of connections. And really beautiful dynamics get to be born. And even too, like aunts and uncles as well. Like even now that my brother has moved out, my brother has a very distinct relationship with my kids that really falls under still parenthood, like the
Yeah.
dynamics and like what is to be fulfilled on. And
Yeah.
um yeah, like we're just not this isolation, a family in isolation. There's so many people that can nourish and fulfill that. And our kids get to have all these special relationships with different people that just enrich their life.
And Sarah, I just hear too then, what is the space that we bring to that kind of relationship where it's not our biological, right? It's not our biological whatever or adopted whatever, right? But like, who are we for all those people in our lives, right? And I mean,
Hmm.
I know you've had this experience, and I've sure had this experience where I can see over the years of my kids bringing having friends in their life, like the spaces that I've moved through, and where those like we have friends where we've known that kid since they were 8 months old, and who they are for me is like honestly, they're family, right? And they come
Hmm.
to our house as family, like it's really cute. And then we've been to all these spaces, but who I am is this space of love and connection for them too, right? Yeah. And we've
Mm.
had big kids that have lived with us for a while that I've loved, right? Like I just, oh my word, I don't think it could be any better than that. Yeah. Sorry, there's
Yeah.
somebody walking past and you might hear talking.
But yeah, like there's and I remember like a few years back, like when I was running and leading like the inspirative classes, it's
Yes.
like there were students there that like were in that for I don't know 5, 6, 7 years with me,
Mm,
right? And like the connections that get built, like wow, I just get lit up by who these humans are, and it's
yes.
like they'd come over into my house, and it's like their house, this house is your house, and they would be so comfortable and make themselves so
Mm,
at home, and I loved it. Like it filled my
mm,
cup, it filled my
yes.
heart,
Yeah.
and to contribute to them and to like have a relationship, like it was such a privilege, like such an honor.
Thank you.
Yeah, to
That's
like
actually
have
it.
that kind of relationship
Yeah.
with a child that's not mine.
Yeah.
Or like, and when I even say that, I'm not even talking just biological, because like adopted, all of it, the whole world of that, but like not my family,
Yeah.
you
Not
know.
your, yeah. Yeah. No, and I really hear that. And what you just said there are actually my words, right? The privilege and an honor it is to witness other people's children, right? And that,
Yeah.
like, even the moments, like, I picked up somebody's bigger kid and I was like desperate to buy them a treat, because we went shopping. I was desperate to buy them a treat. And I sent them to the bakery thing. And they're like, come back with a muffin. And I'm like, seriously, this is your idea of a treat? But right in that moment, I really got that kid. Like he's really connected. But if food is just fuel for him, he's not a sweet tooth kind of guy. This was the perfect thing. And I had the best trip with him because he was right there with me. Like I got to witness him, like free and clear, like just me. I had this moment with him and I was just like, ah, it so fills me up, right? I just love that when you
Yeah.
get that snapshot of that kid in their life. Yeah.
Mm. Freaking awesome. Like it is. And like I'm actually just really present to like this week to take on just that whole idea of like the contribution we get to be by just being that space to witness those other kids and people in our lives, but especially youth, like given like who we are in committed parenting here and taking on parenthood. But like the opportunity we play and the role we play with youth and with kids that we come across, like
Hmm.
we really get to be an impact and a contribution. We can be really a great space to hold in like love and honor for who they are.
Hmm.
And I'm really excited to take that on this week, just to be like, as I go about, like to honor those relationships like that are just such a privilege, and to just acknowledge that. And like, wow, thank you for allowing me that relationship.
Yes, it's that, Sarah. It really is, right?
Yeah.
And I think the freedom too, like when I see my kids being loved like that, right? The freedom that they just like, it's like my sister did that for my kids when she and my brother-in-law came to visit. They sat and they beamed at my blooming kids. They just beamed like sun. And I was like, the freedom it gives my kids to be loved like that by other people. Like I'm like entirely moved. You've done that for my kids, Sarah. I'm so clear. But it's that like visceral, like watching people beam at my kids. I'm like, there's space we give the kids to show up then, right?
Mm, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so neat to take that on, like about outside of our family, like who we just get to be. And like we're in these commitments with our own kids and our family, and we just get to expand that to like
Mm,
in such a beautiful way.
hmm. Yeah.
All
Awesome.
right. I'm out to honor. and acknowledge all the privilege of those relationships that I get to
Yeah,
have this week.
me too. Thank you. Yay.
All right. And for you, you can take that on too, because I am pretty certain that there are other children, youth, people in your life that it's this honor and privilege to have a relationship with, that
Yeah.
you get to have an impact and a contribution by just being with them.
Hmm.
And please, like, go and acknowledge yourself and acknowledge them and honor that, like, beautiful, like, like little relationship. It's like its own entity, that relationship that you've built. Like, honor
Hmm.
that and nourish that, and it's beautiful.
Yes.
So, yeah, take that on
Brilliant.
too.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Yay.
Bye.
Bye.